Coming apart at the seams, and the whole thing's feeling low. You're convincing yourself that there's nobody there. I know how you feel, like somebody is taking the wheels off your car when you had somewhere to go. It's annoying not going to get very far, I know, but somebody cares. There's always someone somewhere, you should know by now. Always somebody who cares, tapping day in, day out. Well, you know by now. Always somebody who cares. If you don't know it, how will it find you? How will we know your whereabouts? But I know how you feel. Like somebody is taking the wheels off your car when you had somewhere to go. Well, it's frustrating not going to get very far, I know, but somebody cares. There's always someone somewhere, you should know by now. Always somebody who cares, happening day in, day out. Well, you know by now. Always somebody who cares. And if you don't know it, how will it find you? How will we know your whereabouts? But I know how you feel.
Here are the chords needed for the first half of the first verse: an A minor, an E minor 7th, an F bar chord, a C, and a G. These are the chords used for the second part of the first verse: A minor on the 5th, an A minor with a major 7th on the 5th, an A minor 7th on the 5th, A minor 6th on the 4th, to an F major 7th on the 3rd, and an E7 in the open position. The second part of the song switches to the A major key, so you'll need an A in the open position, a B minor bar chord on the 2nd, an E in the open position, an F sharp minor bar chord on the 2nd, and an open D. The third part of the song features an E minor 7th on the 2nd fret, a D minor 7th in the open position, and an F major 7th in the open position. Let's look at these chords on the guitar. You have an A minor, E minor 7, F, C, and G. Those are simple. Then you have an A minor here on the 5th that you drop down to this chord, and I'm going to call it an A minor with a major 7th. And then you bring down that note again, and there's an A minor 7th. And I'll call that an A minor 6th, because you're just decreasing that 4th string note. And one more time. And that finally turns into an F major 7 there. And then you go to an E7. The second part of the song has an A, a B minor, an E, F sharp minor, and a D. And then the third part of the song, you have this E minor 7 here on the 2nd, and then D minor 7th in the open position, and then the F major 7th reappears in that position there, in the open position. Here are the acoustic guitar parts in the intro to the song. This intro is composed of basically 4 phrases that happen. So let's take a look at each phrase individually. The first phrase starts off like an A minor shape, but you're going to pluck strings 3 and 4. So it sounds like this. And then you pluck open 2nd and 3rd strings, and then you make this little A minor shape here on the first, 2nd and 3rd strings. And then you slide that up 2 frets to the 3rd and 4th frets. And then you're going to bar the 5th fret on those same 2 strings, 2nd and 3rd strings still. Back down to that shape. Back down to the A minor shape. And then you're going to do... So you're doing a pull-off on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string before landing back on that first shape you started with, which was the A minor shape, plucking 3 and 4. So it sounds like this slowly. And then you want to arpeggiate an A minor chord for about 2 measures. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start the next phrase, and that happens in between all these phrases. The next little phrase sounds like this. So what you're doing there is you're sliding up to the 5th fret, but you're going to slide and you're going to bar strings 1, 2, and 3 on the 5th fret, because you're going to use the 3rd string in a second. First you pluck strings 1 and 2, and then you pluck strings 2 and 3. So it sounds like... And then you're going to go down to this little shape again. Remember this A minor shape from before here on the 3rd and 4th frets. And then down to the A minor shape again. Open 2nd and 3rd strings. 2nd fret, 3rd and 4th strings. Open 2nd and 3rd strings. And then land on that A minor shape on the 2nd and 3rd strings again. So that one sounds like... So once again. Okay, so now let's play both of those 2 phrases together. It sounds like this. And then the 3rd phrase is exactly the same as the first phrase, so it's... And then the 4th phrase sounds like... So there, I've started off just like the first phrase. Okay, so once again that's 2nd fret, 3rd and 4th strings. Open 2nd and 3rd strings. Little A minor shape. Slide it up 2 frets. Bar the 5th fret of the 2nd and 3rd string. And then go back down to that shape you just did. And that's where it ends. And then you go into the verse from there. Instead of arpeggiating the chord like this, in anticipation of the next phrase, you can play another phrase that is played by the bass in the song. And there's 3 of those phrases. The first phrase on the bass sounds like this. So in other words, you'd play the riff and it would sound like this. go into the second phrase. So that phrase is, so I'm bending on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, releasing down to the 1st fret, and then I'm going to bar the 3rd and 4th strings of the 2nd fret and play those notes. So 3rd string, 4th string, and then open 3rd string to the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So slowly it sounds like. The second bass fill sounds like this. So what that is it's up on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, and I went down to the 7th fret, down to the 5th fret, and then I'm bending the 7th fret, bend and release of the 7th fret of the 4th string. So it sounds like. The third phrase that the bass plays that you can use will sound like this. So that one is simple. I'm just hitting an open 5th string, sliding up to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, up to the 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then the 5th fret of the 1st string. So it's, so that could be after that third phrase. So for example, it'll sound like this. And then you go to the 4th phrase, which is before you bring it into the verses. If I play the bass phrases in between the acoustic guitar phrases, the intro will sound like this. When your body is coming apart at the sea. There's two ways you can pick that A minor walk down section on that second part of the first verse. The first way is to go like this. Know how it feels. And the second way is like this. So the first version, I set up that A minor chord and I plucked the 4th string, 3rd string, and then 2 upstrokes on the 1st and 2nd string. I dropped it down to the next chord. Same thing, 4th string, 3rd string, 2 upstrokes on the 1st and 2nd string. Dropped it down to the A minor 7th, same thing. Dropped it down again to the F major 7. And the second way, you start off with the A minor and then you play. So I'm playing 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2. Before bringing it back to the E7. Here's the guitar solo. I'll break the solo into chunks to make it easier to talk about. So the first step is to slide up to the 5th fret here on the 2nd string. So I slide up to that 2nd string note, hit the 1st string note on the 5th fret, 7th fret 1st string, 8th fret 1st string, down to the 7th fret, and then hammer on pull off from 5 to 7 on the 1st string, and then down to 8 on the 2nd string. So that first bit sounds like. Now the second piece is. Okay, so I'm playing 5 on the 2nd string up to 8, and then a hammer-on and pull-off of 5 to 8, back to 5, down to 3 on the second string, and then down to 5 on the third string. So that second part is, so the first two parts together are, now the third part sounds like this. So there I'm playing a hammer-on the fourth string from 5 to 7, 5 on the third string, 7 on the third string, down to 5. Now I'm sliding from 7 to 9 on the third string, and then I play from 8 to 10 and back down to 8 on the second string. So that part sounds like, okay, so now let's put all three of those parts together. It would sound like, now the next part, the fourth part, goes, okay, so that part starts off from the 13th fret up here on the second string. So I'm playing that 13th fret note, and then I'm doing a hammer-on and pull-off from 12 to 13, back to 12, down to 10, slide from 10 to 5, hit 5 again, and then I'm up to 7 on the first string, 3 times, down to 5 on the second string, up to 8 on the first string, back down to 5 on the second string, and then 10 and 12 on the first string. So that part sounds like, and now the last part is, so that last part starts on the 12th fret, down to the 10th fret of the first string, down to 8, slide down to 7 without striking the string. So you do, and then down to 10 on the second string, and then you're going to slide from 8 to 5 on the third string. So that's a fast slide. You do it with your first finger, and then down to 7 on the fourth string. So it sounds like, so that last section sounds like, so now let's join all those pieces together. I'll play the solo slowly. Here's the tablature for the guitar solo. The lines are the strings of the guitar, and the numbers are the frets that are played. The vertical black lines divide the solo into the sections I discussed earlier. There's a little bass line you can throw in between lines on the A major section. It sounds like this. Always somebody who cares, happening day and day. So that bass line is twice on the 6th string open, once on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and then the 2nd fret 5th string, open 5th string. So it sounds like, and you do that right after the first line. So it ends, always somebody who cares, it's happening